How's everybody doing out there in Facebook land, Twitter land, the rest of those places? Great to see you guys all this evening. So, tonight we're talking about marijuana saves lives, prohibition destroys lives. And yeah, I know. I was running a little bit late. Ended up with some other commitments that just ran a little bit over. So, I had to redo some of the technical expertise in order to get things up and running. But remember, folks, I'm with Idaho. Yep. And our goal is for you to sign the petition for medical marijuana in the state of Idaho. Now, marijuana saves lives. We all know this to be true. Reason why is because we all have friends and family who are using. A number of them are using for a number of different reasons. We have got statistics from all across the United States that talk about how marijuana has been beneficial across the spectrum. Whether it's CBD oil for young children who are suffering from epilepsy, whether it's people who are recovering from some form of uh, cancer, glaucoma that allows old people to see again, to pain management, including everything from arthritis creams so that people can continue to use their hands in a way, uh, you know, to take care of themselves. These are all things that help build lives, that help give people their lives back. Marijuana saves lives. There's absolutely no denying this in any way, shape, or form. Pain management, you know, um, everything from endometriosis, we've seen it, pain management and dealing with cancer treatments so that people don't actually have to go to the full opioid uh, pain management program that actually runs the risk of killing them in the process. I mean, how bad is it that we are currently in a situation where, in order to go through chemo, you're issued an opioid prescription? And along with that opioid prescription, you have to get issued Narcan just in case you accidentally overdose on those opioids they gave you for your pain management program. Okay. We have medical marijuana for pain management program. Absolutely. We have that ability to go in and take care of that aspect of pain management so that you don't need Narcan to control the pain. Or, sorry, so that you don't need Narcan to survive your pain management program. Yeah, and that's one of those things. It's very important, particularly as we move forward and as we continue to deal with a number of issues along those lines. Now, the aspect prohibition destroys lives. Well, we all know this to be the case. We take a look at what happens on the black market. We take a look at what happens when black market drugs become the drug of choice. Okay. We all like to make sure that we have quality control. You know, people have their favorite black market dealers. Reason why they have their favorite black market dealers is because they've always had access to consistent product from those dealers. What happens when those dealers run out of product? They end up going to someone else. They start looking for products somewhere else on the market. Someone who doesn't have the same consistency of quality that these people are used to. They end up doing more, they end up doing less. They end up with laced goods, they end up with corrupted. It's one of those things right now. We're dealing with a fentanyl epidemic across the United States. Fentanyl, it is ending up in medication all over the place. It's being faked. Okay, we have fake medication that is being pressed to look like opioids, prescription opioids that are sold on the black market. We have fentanyl across the United States that is being pressed to look exactly like the opioids. Somebody gets extra of, somebody who doesn't need the opioids to the same level as someone else, you know, is able to sell these on the black market. They're prescriptions so that somebody who is addicted, somebody who needs it, who no longer is able to access prescription medication, no longer able to access their opioid prescription. Because how you doing, David? Love to see you. Appreciate you coming on the show. So, here we go, David. Appreciate you stopping by. Yeah. Opioids. The fentanyl, it's in everything. And literally the regular marketeers that have access to those people who are selling their surplus opioids, selling their Oxycontin, selling, their tramadol. All of these are becoming laced, you know, impersonator drugs. Fentanyl's being pressed to look like tramadol. Fentanyl's being pressed to look like Oxycontin. And it is being sold on the black market as those drugs. And people are overdosing. People are dying. I mean, this is a process that is literally killing them. And this is because of the prohibition and the current way we are managing pain management, the current way we are handling healthcare. Prohibition. It's even reached the point right now that in places where we have black market marijuana. Yes, imagine that. Black market marijuana, because there is not a regular sales location. There is not a quality control check on medical marijuana or even on recreational marijuana. We are still seeing black market dealers that are continuing to lace their product. This is one of these things. Prohibition kills. Literally. We are finding medical programs where, well, not even medical programs. There are places across the United States where people are still buying from black market dealers of questionable repute, and they're finding that they are dying because their marijuana was laced with something that it shouldn't have been, because they didn't have the quality. Somebody tried to find a way to give them that extra high with substandard product. Prohibition kills. Prohibition destroys lives. Now, that doesn't even start getting into the situation where, oh, the police caught you. You now have a record. If you were caught with too much, you are now a felon. Now, a felon in Idaho, you are on your way to the big house. You will be spending anywhere from 2 to 5 years for your first offense for possession of more than 3 ounces of marijuana. Probably not a good way to maintain a quality of life moving forward. That's one of those situations. We have several people who are challenged with that. Crossed Idaho, reason why is because they come back across the border with too much. They're in possession. Something goes wrong in the process. They end up in drug court. They end up in, veterans court. Let's go ahead and talk about what happens to a veteran when a veteran gets caught coming across the border. They end up doing a plea bargain with the DA. DA turns around and takes a look at him and says, you know what? We got this program for you. And it's going to cost you an arm and a leg. And when you're done with this program, we're going to expunge your record, provided you behave the entire time. While we are leeching your paycheck, while we are wasting your time, while we are depriving you of that self-medication capability that is keeping you a functional resident of the state of Idaho. Let's face it, an awful lot of the people we know who use to stay functional. They use it to reduce anxiety. They use it to self-medicate post-traumatic stress injury. And Prohibition is one of those programs that goes in and removes the ability of those individuals to self-medicate with a product that works, with a product that is successful for them. They end up on some sort of psychoactive drug that's prescribed by a psychologist, or in some cases even a medical doctor, that affects them in such a way where they are no longer able to be functional. Why is it we do that to people? They know what works for them. They're trying their hardest to stay functional. They want to earn the money. They want to do the job. They want to be part of the community. They want to be able to interact and love and be loved. And they have found a way that allows them to do this. Right? Absolutely. This is one of those things. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. Kana, thanks for paying attention, by the way, because I'm going to go ahead and take a moment to share this because this is something that's important to take a look at. Okay. This danger of fentanyl extra. Fentanyl tainted marijuana. Keeps popping up. Evidence of it doesn't really exist. Okay, well, it's an interesting discussion to be had. Okay, you're not going to find fentanyl tainted marijuana at a dispensary. Never going to happen. Reason why is because it's quality check. Okay, most of you dealers, they know better. It's bad stuff. You're not going to find fentanyl in your marijuana in most cases. You dealers got to be a real asshole to use fentanyl in order to up the high that you get from it. It's not the case with an awful lot of other drugs. Like I said, your fake pressed fentanyl that's disguised as opioids, whether it's OxyContin, whether it's Tramadol, whether it's one of those others. Yes, fentanyl is showing up in those all over the place. But you aren't seeing it where people are able to do their quality control. Thanks for pointing that out. Thanks you so much. It's definitely one of those things that's important, especially as we're moving forward. Yeah. Pay attention to your stuff. If you don't trust your dealer, man, fentanyl strips are cheap. Fentanyl testing strips are cheap. They really are. Test your product, test your material, test your goods. If you have to use black market to get any of your drugs, any of them, test. Fentanyl testing strips are cheap. Do it, man. The life you save may be your own. Yeah, I know that one's a little bit cheesy, but it's the truth. The life you save may be your own. Get the testing strips. They're cheap. They're worth the investment. Yeah. But the thing with the prisons, the way we handle our veterans, the way we continue to send them to prison for things, the way we continue to send young Americans to prison for use of marijuana. You know, these are people with bright futures. You know, they're using it for a different number of reasons. You know, some of it's childhood trauma. Some of it's just recreational use. Some of it's overcoming something like the medications they received as children. You know, for some reason, the Adderall didn't work for them as children, and they find marijuana is able to take the edge off. You know, chemical dependencies created in children because of the institutionalized processes we have as far as integrating drugs in the classroom. And how many children do we know continue to be dosed in order for teachers to be able to cope with them in classrooms? So people who grow up knowing most of the lies about drugs are indeed lies because they were raised on Adderall, they were raised on Ritalin, they were raised on a number of psychoactives that kept them normal in a classroom so that a teacher could deal with them, or kept them normal at home so that a parent could deal with them. You know, most of these kids grew up on drugs. They're now using. They understand how marijuana works for them because they're used to negotiating the drugs they were given as children. Except now we continue to make the things that they've developed an addiction for. K through 12. Somebody's been using Ritalin or Adderall in order to stabilize their personality for 6, 7 years. They graduate, they're cut off. Yeah, well, you're no longer in school, so you no longer need it. Go out into the world and do without that thing that's been keeping you working in our institutions for the past 6, 7 years. It's not the way we treat kids, folks. That's not the way that, yeah. A lot of things about the way we do things like that, it's not right. It is not right. So, I know I got started late. This is usually a 30-minute block. I got started close to about 15 minutes late because it's about 6:30 right now. Come on, guys, ask me questions. Let's talk about something. Tell me what's going on. What's important to you? What is it you want to know as far as Kind Idaho's position on decriminalization and educated use? Because that's what we're really all about. We are about educated use. And we want to make sure that the people of Idaho have the knowledge to use their marijuana properly. Ideally under the supervision of a medical professional, healthcare professional. Yes, we do believe in the healthcare program. We do believe in using medical marijuana with quality control. Hi, Jackie. Love you, Jackie. You are an amazing woman. Jackie Winter, she is the chair of Kind Idaho. She is the one that has been putting all of the energy into making sure that we get out and sign the petition. Yes. She's been keeping us going strong. Thank you, Jackie. I am doing excellent tonight. Excellent, excellent. You are so very, very welcome. She is a wonderful woman, folks. Join Kind Idaho. Come volunteer for us. Find out what an amazing woman she is. And let's get people to sign the petition so that we can get medical marijuana. But the thing is, Kind Idaho, we are all about educating people and maintaining the medical program once we get it established here in the state. And we see that happen all over the United States. We get started with the medical program. Then along comes the recreational, and everybody gets their money invested in the recreational, and then we no longer have a medical program. There's no longer that consistent quality of product that's being produced so that the people who are using it medicinally have a guaranteed quality of product, a consistent quality of product that allows them to continue to operate. And that is why medical is so important. We need the medical program. We need the licensing that says, or we need the quality control that says, this is what you're getting, and this is what it's good for. Okay? You know what you know what the levels of the endocannabinoids are that are going into this stuff you got. Ooh. Not good, man. Not good. All right, we'll work through it. Hey, but medical is so important. Reason why is because you need to know how much THC is in the system. You need to understand whether the strain's a sativa or whether it's an indica, whether or not it's got some other high strength in the high strength endocannabinoid that's operating in it. Because we're continuing to see more and more. Yeah, Jackie, absolutely. Go to kindidaho.org. We got stories. We got people that are talking about it. We got the links to events, places, things. go to Kind Idaho. As long as we're there, Jackie, one of the things that we need to talk about, particularly as we go on, is here, the donation site. Go to secure.actblue.com, donate kind-idaho-1. Go to Act Blue right now, donate. Because that's how we keep this going. This is how we make things happen. Donate. That keeps our doors open. That keeps our website up. That keeps our site going. That allows us to keep printing petitions so that people can sign the petition so that we can get medical marijuana on the ballot. It's important. You have friends and family that need it. You know, some of you out there may be the individual who needs it. You may not be using right now because it's not legal in the state of Idaho. And the process of acquiring it could set you back. Some of you are subject to regular testing in order to continue to receiving the medical treatment that you currently enjoy. In which case, a THC positive test would negate your current medical program that you enjoy, that you participate in. Yep. Brenda, thank you. You know, sorry to hear that they are late. You know, we all go through that grieving process, but I am glad that the time they were able to use it improved their quality of life, you know, during their later days. You know, quality of life. It's one of the reasons why it's so important. Reduction of pain, reduction from anxiety, the ability to participate in their community again. You know, so critical. Thank you, Brenda, for you know, bringing your story to us today. Yeah, I love knowing that people were able to find peace, you know, through medical marijuana. You know, even if they come to it late, you know, at any stage in life, once you're able to find this, find the way it helps you, the way it creates, you know, an ability for you to cope with the things going on in your life so that you can once again be functional in a way that we continue to want people to be part of our lives, be part of our community. They want to be part of our lives and they want to be part of our communities. They want to enjoy those relationships. You know, critical, very important. You know, and definitely appreciate the stories. Remember, prohibition destroys lives, people. You know, we can talk till we are blue in the face about how marijuana, you know, saves lives. That is one of the things we want to do. You know, but as long as we continue to exist within this dichotomy where we are looking at prohibition is the status quo here in the state of Idaho. It is. You know, possession will land you in jail. Possession of enough will land you in prison. You know, continue to keep showing up on the jail roster for possession. Eventually, you'll get you 3 strikes and you'll end up in prison. You know, we have a mental health problem here in the state of Idaho. We have a healthcare problem. We have a pain management problem. We have an opioid problem here in the state of Idaho. Literally, we have all of these problems right now that are destroying lives. We have veterans with post-traumatic stress injury. We have police officers with post-traumatic stress injury. You know, first responders that have been on site. All of these people are people who can benefit from the legalization and or decriminalization of marijuana so that they can use it medicinally here in the state of Idaho. It's why a medical program is so important, and it's why Kind Idaho exists. So with that, folks, managed to stretch it out a little bit longer. Love you guys. Remember, family, friends, community. As long as you got those 3, you can make anything happen. Go out and do amazing things today. Love you all.